Hello guys, how are you all doing? Happy Sunday to you all. Welcome back. Very quickly, I want to give you an update for those of you who are in France. So this is, I think it's a good news for all those immigrants who are in France. Remember that Macron has been pushing for a law that will increase faster deportation and all that. Okay, so the Constitutional Court has ruled against that very move and trashed a larger part of that particular idea that Emmanuel Macron, which is the president of France, was introducing against the immigrant. Now, French immigration law, what are the measures deemed unconstitutional? Because the higher court has ruled that most of those rulings that Emmanuel Macron was bringing to the table were unconstitutional. So let's quickly take a look at it. And if you come across this video, don't forget to touch the share button so that you will make it go viral so others can see it. Now, France Constitutional Council on Thursday struck down large parts of a divisive new immigration law that was voted in parliament with the backing of the far-right ruling that the measures go against the constitution. That is what the court, okay, the Constitutional Council is saying now, that majority of what they voted for in the parliament were unconstitutional. The council, which is tasked with validating the constitutionality of laws approved by parliament, threw out all or part of the 32 laws, 86 articles, largely for procedural reasons. It notably struck down the bulk of clauses introduced by opposition right-wing lawmakers to further toughen the bill during a turbulent parliamentary process. Okay, opponents of the reform had accused President Emmanuel Macron government of caving in to pressure from the far right to get the law through parliament. About 75,000 people took to the street nationwide over the weekend to protest the proposed legislation in anticipation of the Constitutional Council's decision. Because I reported earlier how a lot of people, thousands, trooped to the street to protest against the new laws that Emmanuel Macron was pushing for, which was approved through the parliament. So they say that the Constitutional Council now has deemed them illegal. Now, below are some of the key measures that were thrown out by the court. So listen and pay attention to this side. Delayed access to social benefit. Remember that they were trying to cancel that for the immigrant. Now, they said the Constitutional Council rejected a key article, making it harder for immigrants to access social welfare, which discriminated between French citizens and the foreigners. So what Emmanuel Macron was trying to do was to put a divide there that would differentiate the benefit that foreigners will get from the ones that migrants, that is foreigners who are living in France, would get. You see that? So the proposed legislation made the payment of some social benefits to foreigners conditional or their employment status. Immigrants without a job would have had to wait 5 years before receiving monthly rent assistance. You can imagine that. So those migrants who have not received their document will have to wait for 5 years before they can receive any assistance, known as APL. While those in employment would have waited 3 months before they can also receive that measure. Now, the measure was seen as a major concession to the French far right and parts of the conservative left Republicans who want French citizens to enjoy priority status when it comes to social welfare. So they wanted to differentiate the citizens, the real owners of the country, and the foreigners who have integrated into their system. Migrant quotas. The council also rejected the introduction of migrant quotas, which would have capped the number of migrants accepted in France, excluding asylum seekers, over a 3-year period. This measure had been recognized as unconstitutional by Macron's own ruling coalition. It nevertheless agreed to add it to the revised bill in order to win the support of the less Republicans, while hoping the Constitutional Council will strike it down. The move prompted critics to accuse Macron of seeking to pass the buck onto the Constitutional Council by submitting legislation he knew was contrary to France's basic laws. Una dey see am? Family reunification. So there were a lot of things that they really cancelled. The top court also threw out a deeply divisive measure, making it harder for immigrants to bring their families to France. So these are some of the measures that the president, which is Emmanuel Macron, were introducing, and they almost succeeded, if not for this particular Constitutional Council that is deeming all this illegal. I mean, okay. Now, even bringing your family to France as an immigrant who have integrated, gotten your document, and settled there would become a problem. So they have ruled that it is against the law for the government to rule against the people who wants to reunify with their families. Maybe a husband went to France, and when he settled there and got his document or papers, he wanted to bring the wife and children. So the law that Emmanuel Macron was pushing for would make it almost impossible for the man to be able to bring his or her, yes, because a woman can also be in that position, to bring his or her family to France, you see. So the bill stipulated that immigrants needed to prove they had resided in France for 24 months, up from the current 18 months before applying to bring their families to France. It also required applicants to provide evidence of a regular income and of French health insurance for each member of the family. Such requirement would have been impossible to meet, Green lawmaker Emmanuel Vogel argued during parliamentary debate in November. If the family of a foreigner is not in France, they are not going to be affiliated to its social security, and their private insurance in their country of origin will not be valid in France. So maybe somebody travels out of France and they are not going to be affiliated to its social security. If you are not in France, that means that all those benefits and the health insurance will be cancelled until you are still back in France. These are the kind of laws that Emmanuel Macron was trying to do. Okay, so if not for the intervention of the Constitutional Council now, that have struck these quotas down now, maybe Emmanuel Macron would have succeeded. So that's a good news to all the immigrants who are living in France. Let me know what you guys think about it on the comment section. I'll be coming back with more updates. Stay tuned and share this video. God bless you.